Hi, and how are ya? This is Kelsey with Kelleezielke, and today I'm going to do a stitch along. Hi, thanks for joining me today. I know my stitch alongs aren't like the #1 video that I put out. It's really the only other video I've put out other than floss tube, but those of you that do watch my stitch alongs have lots of good things to say. So I want to accommodate everyone and not just the masses. So I'm doing another stitch along. I'm just gonna get right into it. I just put on a little like skincare. I did my hair differently, a center part. It's pretty brave. If you grew up in the 90s, you know what I mean. I've got my Casper sweatshirt on. I don't think I can wear this for much longer, so got it on. And I was watching some YouTube, but now I'm just gonna stitch with you guys. And I'm going to stitch this Heart and Hand Merry Making Mini Merry Christmas. I absolutely love this like retro little ornament, and it came in a kit that I got in some Happy Mail that I will talk about in my next video, which I'll actually probably be filming later today, maybe tomorrow. So it came with all the flosses and the beads that I need. So it doesn't come with any of the finishing stuff, which is okay because I really don't like how they finished this like at all. Totally not my style, but yeah, so really excited. I am this far. Ooh, let's see if I can. I'm this far already. So I'm kind of cruising. I can take this light off. I'm not going to be using it. So yeah, I got this a few days ago in the mail and I started stitching it the same day I got it. And yeah, I'm just cruising. Absolutely love it. Let me kind of show you my setup. I've been loving this board. I just stick magnets to it and put all my like stuff to it. I don't actually know what the purpose of this is, if it's just for the line keepers or what, but this is how I'm using it. And then I'll put my pattern up here. Let's see, I was right. Was I right here? Yes, I was right here. And I kind of just do this. And I'll put my thread up here like this so that it's all on here. And then at night, I just got this last night. My husband, I was stitching last night on the couch with my husband, and I was like trying to get really close to this lamp, and I was like, I'm not, and then I asked him for his headlamp, and he was like, hold on 1 minute. And he goes into the basement and he grabs, hold on. He grabbed this little case and gave it to me, and he said, I'm just gonna give you your Christmas present early. And I was like, this is such a beautiful case. And inside was this light. So far I love it. I obviously only stitched with it one night, so I will come back maybe in a month and tell you my review, but so far I love it. It has 3 light settings and 3 different temperature settings. So if you like a cooler light, a warmer light, a normal like white light, it's got all those. It's rechargeable, and it's called Kelleezielke Mart. So that's what it's called. Premium book light. My husband didn't tell me how much it was, but he said it wasn't too expensive. So that's what I like to hear. He knows I enjoy hearing that he got a deal on my Christmas presents. Because it's not fun for me if I know they cost a lot of money. So yeah, this is my setup, and I'm just gonna start stitching. I like to put a pillow on my lap, and then I'll put this here. I'm actually stitching in a hoop because my Q-snaps were occupied, and I thought, you know what, this is gonna stitch up so quick, and it really has. I've been working on this. This is now my third day. This is now my fourth day working on it. I haven't actually had like all the time in the world to stitch. So, I think I would have finished it a lot quicker. I'm gonna move you a little bit closer if I've had more time to stitch. But anyways, I've got my Bath and Body Works candle going. It's 'Tis the Season is the scent, and it is, just smells so good. I'm normally like, my favorite scents are like from Bath and Body Works, the wallflower scents. I love mahogany. And then there's like a mahogany island or something. It's like a tropical mahogany. It is so good. I am not into like frosted cake or vanilla icing, or I can't handle those. My mom has this candle at her house. It's called, I think it's called Pancakes, and it smells like pancakes. So when you walk into her house, it smells like she's been like baking or something. Not that she has like a candle lit, and like for whatever reason that bothers me because there isn't any pancakes. Not that I'm like the biggest pancake fan, but I don't know. It smells like food instead of just like a nice scent. I don't know. I guess I'm normally trying to get rid of the food scents in my house. Okay, so let me see if I have an update. My husband got back from hunting. That is just always so wonderful when he comes home. My daughter definitely missed him. She's too young to like know that. I mean, she probably knew that he was gone. She's 15 months. But, you know, I couldn't like explain to her what he was doing or why he was gone or anything. But so he's home. That was wonderful. I really just like packed my week. The week that he was gone, I just like packed it full of stuff because I knew that the busier I was, the faster time would go. And it did. It went really fast. I stayed a few nights at my parents' house. My mom and I like stayed up till 11 almost every night, which I normally go to bed at 9:30. We stayed up till like 11 watching Hallmark movies together, and we played Hallmark bingo. If you love Hallmark movies and you've never played Hallmark bingo, you totally need to. You can find it on Pinterest. There's like a bunch of free printables. And actually, I think I have one around here because I was playing with my husband last night. Hold on. Sorry, I keep getting up. But okay, so this is the Hallmark board that I printed last night. And they're like, a kiss in the snow, two people not looking for love, a snowball fight, a mysterious stranger, a twist of fate, a meet cute, a family heirloom. And yeah, so just different things. And if you see that in the Hallmark movie, we put M&Ms on it. And yeah, it's just a fun thing to do with your girlfriends. Or my husband normally like refuses to watch Hallmark movies with me, but he was feeling very sweet last night and we actually watched two. One at nap time and one at night. So it was very sweet. I'm in deep with the Hallmark Christmas movies already. I've recorded a ton, and actually I found some on Amazon Prime. They have a few. I don't know if they're like Hallmark specifically, but you know, Hallmark type movies. And I watched The Mistletoe Mix-Up on Amazon Prime. It's free if you have Prime. And I loved it because growing up in the 90s, the Lawrence brothers, Joey, Matthew, and Andrew Lawrence were like, well, not Andrew, but Matthew and Joey Lawrence were like crushes, big time crushes I had. And they're in this movie, and it's so good. If you are a 90s girl or guy and you know who the Lawrence brothers are, check it out. The Mistletoe Mix-Up. It was really cute. I really enjoyed it. What else did I watch? Last night I was in the middle. Was it last night? Yeah, last night. After my husband went to bed, I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay up a little bit longer. And I only got like a third of the way through. I think it's called In Time for Christmas. Let me look. Let me pull it up. She is like traveling alone, and oops, turn the volume down. Let's see. She's traveling alone and she gets like run off the road by a car and like thrown into the river, and she gets retrograde amnesia. Time for them to come home for Christmas. It's from last year. So I haven't finished that, but I really liked where it was going. And then the one my husband and I watched was, we watched two. We watched Three Wise Men and a Baby. So cute. And A Maple Valley Christmas. It's like, kind of like if Yellowstone was a Hallmark movie, and instead of cattle, it was maple syrup. That's the movie. So it's A Maple Valley Christmas. They're in Montana. They're trying to buy land, but this other retail, like, realtor is trying to come in and develop it. And they're like, no, we need the land for our family farm because they need to grow more maple trees so they can tap them for maple syrup. You know, it's like just like Yellowstone. If you watch Yellowstone, you'll know how much of a joke that is. I haven't started watching the new season yet. My husband and I like have a real issue, and like we just need to binge watch the whole season. We cannot wait for these like episodes to come out. So we're thinking that at least after Thanksgiving there will be a few more episodes out that we can like, you know, binge a little bit. I don't know if we'll be able to wait until the whole season's out before we start watching it, because we love that show. I would love to know what show you guys watch, or what Hallmark movies you're watching, whatever you're watching, reading, I'd love to know. So leave that in the comments below. I used to read like 40, 50 books a year. And then having a child, it was just like, I think I've read 8 this year. It's really kind of sad. But it's also like you make time for the things that you want. Like I could be reading right now, but I'm stitching. So you kind of like fill your time with the things that you want to do the most. Somebody was like, oh, I wish I had more time to go thrifting like you do. And I was like, I don't really have all the time to go thrifting, but because I love it and enjoy it so much, I make time for it. And I make it a priority over other things. Because we can't do it all, right? And so I kind of had to remind myself that. I was looking at my Goodreads, which is like an app or it's also a website where you can log all the books that you've read this year. And I logged on to realize I read like 8 books this year. And I was like, you know what? That's okay. I read 8 books. If I look at it that way, like, wow, good job. Then it's a little bit different than like, you only read 8 books. It's like 8 books could be a lot of books for some people. For some, it's just a drop in the bucket, but I can hear my daughter. She's not quite asleep yet. If you follow me on Instagram, I decorated my daughter's room for Christmas and I made it into like a little reel. And I've been collecting ornaments for her Christmas tree since she was in utero. And I collect the little felt like animals. And she's got like deer and mice and anyways, just so many different kinds. And so she's obsessed with animals of all kinds, animals and Minnie Mouse. And so I think her tree is kind of a distraction. I turn the lights off when she takes a nap or goes to bed, but especially at nap time, she can still like see in her bedroom. And I think her tree might be a little bit of a distraction. I might need to move it so it's not like quite in her eye line. It's like right next to her bed. I had to move it away because I looked on the monitor a few days ago and she had one of the ornaments in her hand because she could put her hand through the bars and it was like that close. So I had to move it a little bit away from her crib, but I might need to move it like across the way. Another thing I did while my husband was gone, and this is like an annual tradition. So my husband, his brother, his dad, his other brother, and another guy go fishing. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. I mean, they go hunting together. So my mother-in-law hosts this craft day because it's her husband that's gone, my father-in-law, and then my sister-in-law comes over and all the kids, and we have a craft day. And this was my first time doing craft day with like an actual, like a toddler. The last time Olive was an infant and she just like laid on this like boppy pillow next to me, slept the majority of the time. And I think last year I did cricket. I did some cricket stuff, made some paper houses and stuff. But this year I brought my cross stitch and I was like, oh, you know, I'll be able to cross stitch while she naps. It's so funny when you become a parent, like your time is not your own. So I had all these grand plans of like doing all this stitching. I think I brought like 4 or 5 projects that I thought I was really gonna like crank out a lot of these projects. And she slept, she normally takes 2 naps, normally 2 hours apiece. Hour and a half to 2 hours apiece. She took 1 nap and it was 45 minutes to an hour, which she plays very well on her own. She's a very good independent player. She is a true only child. However, it just didn't feel right to just like ignore her when everybody was there playing with their kids. I didn't want grandma to like feel responsible, because even though she plays on her own, other people, when she's around other people, they want to play with her. So I couldn't just like ignore my kid and stitch. So I think I put a total of 20 stitches in my Small Town USA design. And you know what? That's okay. Oh, I messed up. Sometimes if I'm talking, that stinker. She's just kind of talking. If I'm not paying attention, I easily make mistakes. Although I will say, this is my first time using, I think this is 32 count. 28 count. This is 28 count Rose Lugana from Zweigart, and I really like this. I really like this 28 count. And I don't know if, I mean, I've never stitched 28 or Lugana, so this is all new for me, so I'd have to see if it's just the 28 count that I like or if it's the Lugana that I like. But I'm really enjoying this stitch because I'm finding it really, really easy. And I'm doing this 2/2, which for me is normally not easy. I gravitate towards like 2 threads over 1 linen. So yeah, 2/2, I just always have to think. And now that I've been doing this for a couple days, I've like pretty much only been stitching this the last couple days. I'm getting in the rhythm doing 2/2, and I don't have to like, you know, count down 2 and over 2 every time. I'm starting to be able to like eyeball it and know like where the 2/2 is, if that makes sense. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sorry, I'm a licker. I never know how my threads start equal and then they like somehow get uneven. I have to keep trimming them. I don't understand that. Okay, that wasn't that big of a mistake. I just had to rip out 3. The other day, I had to rip out maybe like 10 stitches. And when I was doing that, I realized how weird I stitch like it wasn't just rip, rip, rip. It was like rip over here, and then the thread was over here, and then I had to pick it up over here and go over here, because I do like, I think it's called Danish, where I go down the row, but I don't go to the whole row and then go back. I kind of like, I'll do like 4 and then go back, and then I'll skip ahead and do, I don't know why, I just kind of started doing that. When I learned how to stitch, I watched Stitch University. I think that's what it's called. Maybe it's called Cross Stitch University. Anyways, it's Fat Quarter Shop. They have a video on YouTube all about like Cross Stitch 101. They have a whole series. And she talked about the Danish method and the English method. So Danish is where you go down the row doing half stitches one way, and then you come back and do the other half stitches the other way to complete the X. English is where you do X, 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 X. So when I was learning, I really liked the Danish because it felt like I could like really fly. But I realized that when I had to go back, I hated that because it felt like I already did this. So it felt like I was, even though when you do the English, you're doing the same thing, it just felt like I had completed this whole row and now I have to go back and complete the whole row again. So I started doing this weird, like, do 4 or 5 stitches. Oh, baby. Do 4 or 5 stitches and then go back and then go do 4 and 5 stitches. So when it comes to ripping out, it can be really difficult. And it also made me realize, this is why cross stitch is such a learning process. It also made me realize that when I do that, I'm not always crossing the same way. So if I were to go down the row and complete the row and then come back, they would all be, you know, the back stitches would be this way, the front stitches would be this way, and they would all be the same. But because I'm like stopping and starting, sometimes my front stitches will go this way, sometimes my back stitches will go this way. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you look really close, you can see, maybe you can't see. You might not be able to see in the camera. But it was just like the first time I like looked and realized, hey, my stitches are not all facing the same way. Like my top stitches, sometimes they're this way, sometimes they're this way. And I thought, you know what? I bet they're supposed to be the same way. So that is something I learned. Maybe they don't have to be the same way, but it certainly looks better when they are. So anyways, yeah. So I learned that doing this, you know, just this like small project. And I think because, I don't know if it's because I did 2 over 2 and the X's are like slightly larger, that I could really see, oh, wow, these are all going different directions. Or if it was just when I ripped it out, I don't know. But anyways, I'm practicing. And I also did a lot of railroading on here, which I really enjoy the look of. However, it does take so much longer to stitch doing the railroading, but it does look like definitely better when your threads lay flat and they're not like kind of twisted. If I was doing like a full coverage or like a huge piece, I don't know if I would railroad because it does just take so much longer for me. But on something like this, it felt better. And this one actually calls for one strand over 2 threads, and I started that way on the ribbon and then I ripped it out. It was just too, it didn't look full enough. It looked very, yeah. So I did 2 over 2 and I really like the fullness of this now. So anyways, I'm just learning, and I think that's the fun of it is, you know, sometimes you gotta rip things out, but when you rip things out, you learn things. Okay, we are getting finished with this. Maybe by my next video, this will be an FO. It might not be an FFO. And I don't know how I'm going to finish this. However, I do know that I don't like the finish that they have, you know, showed this. So, like, I don't like the fabric or the trimmings or anything like that. But also I don't like that it's kind of in like, just like, it's not a flat fold because there's no fold. It's just a flat. I don't really like that. So I'm not sure. And this is also supposed to be stitched on 36 count Nantucket Brew linen. And I didn't do that. Again, this is 28 count Peach Rose Lugana by Zweigart. So I have yet to learn all of the different like fabrics and like is Lugana a type of fabric? Is it the way the holes are? Is it the way it's dyed? Is it like, I don't know. I haven't learned that yet. And I probably should just look that up because I shouldn't rely on you guys to tell me everything. I should do some research myself. But yeah, we'll see. I will someday have this all figured out, but all right, so I'm still doing, I don't think I can quit doing the way I stitch, where I do Danish and then, you know, do Danish for like, I think I've gone as much as like 10 stitches and then go back and then go forward and go back. I don't think I could, that is just from day one how I've been doing it. So I don't think I can fix that yet. You know, if it starts to become a problem, then maybe I'd fix it. But I can certainly do the same direction. So I just went back, and so now I'm gonna go and make sure all of my stitches go this way, the bottom stitches go this way, and then the top stitches go this way. So I can certainly do that. But yeah, it's kind of funny, like when you learn to do something wrong, which honestly is the story of my life, or maybe not wrong, but just different. When you're teaching yourself to do something, which again, 100% me, it's funny how then people are like, oh, like my mother-in-law was watching me stitch when we were in Alabama together. She would sometimes cross stitch, she would sew, and I would always just cross stitch during nap times. And she was watching me stitch and was like, oh, that's unique. And she's the nicest woman in the world, so she probably was like, that's weird, but in her head. But anyways, it's working for me. So until it doesn't, I'm gonna just keep doing it this way and just watch the direction of my stitches. If any of you out there stitch the way I do, I would love to know. I know people stitch differently, you know, depending on like how they hold it, if they stitch in hand, if they do the sewing method, if they do Danish versus English, if they, you know, I know there's just so many different ways out there, and there probably is like maybe no wrong way, but I'm pretty sure that you really want to do the same direction, I would think. Oh my goodness, this is already 35 minutes, guys. What else was I going to talk about? Yeah, so I got quite a bit of Happy Mail that I will be discussing in my next video. I'll probably talk about my light again too, just because I know not everybody watches stitch-alongs. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. So far, I've watched a lot of stitch-alongs, and not everybody does them, and that's totally fine. But my favorite one that I've watched is from Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop. And she does a stitch with me, but like it's sped up. And she's not just like sitting there and talking. She's showing like her stitchy spot and where she sits. And first of all, her stitching spot is amazing. Like, I've been trying to replicate it, trying to like, just because it looks so comfortable and so practical. Like, she's got lights and she's got tables and she's got everything right there where she needs it, which I have a light, I have a table, but it's just, if you haven't seen it, I will link it below. You gotta watch it. It's just really cool to watch. I think I've watched it like 4 times, to be honest with you. So she's sitting there and it's all like a voiceover and she's just stitching, and it's sped up like 4 or 5 times, because actually it's more than that, probably, because she starts and finishes a piece, and it's a small piece, but she's sitting in that spot stitching for 4 hours. She'll get up and, you know, walk around or whatever, let her dog out, and the video is maybe only 30 minutes, so it is like super sped up. But it really inspired me, and I never want to copy people, but it inspired me to try and figure that out. I am like really not like camera techie, so I have to like figure out how to do that. But I think if I can figure it out, that will be my next stitch along. It's more of like, watch me stitch and see how much I can get done in, you know, however long, and what I'm doing. And yeah, it doesn't sound interesting when I say it out loud. But it's so interesting. Like I said, I think I've watched it 3 or 4 times, and I'm just talking about it. I'm probably gonna watch it now after this. It's just really interesting. I wish she had more on there. She also does a quilt with me, which, you know, I don't quilt, but I enjoy watching people quilt. I have probably watched every Lori Holt video of her doing her like quilting tutorials and stuff. It is so relaxing to me. Another one that I like is Erica Ardent, I think her name is. I linked her in my last video, maybe 2 videos ago, when I made that little notions container. So I'll sit and watch her videos as she like quilts and does projects Lori Holtz I love the most, just because I love her craft room and I love her sewing machines, and it's totally not my style, but like I love it. I love everything about her craft room. She's got a lot of vintage pieces, which is my style. I'm not like a brightly colored person, which is weird to say, but I definitely like neutrals. If I ever do a house tour, which I would love to do, I might do like one room at a time. I'll show you how non-colorful my house is. But anyways, so what I was saying was I enjoy watching people quilt, and Kimberly also has a quilt with me, and I think the video is over, like that one's over like 2 or 3 days where she's quilting, and she doesn't, I don't think she finishes a project in that one, but it's just, they're just very interesting, and I like how they're sped up because you can see actually a whole lot more because you're getting, you know, 2 or 3 days of content. Anyways, it's just really good. I would suggest going over there and watching that. Wow, I'm cruising on this. I'm almost, let's see, how many rows do I have left? Ah, I did it again. I skipped over something. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and they're getting smaller and smaller as we go. So if you can see, this guy here is supposed to look like this guy, but I missed the top X. So when I go in with the red, I'm just gonna go over the blue, because by the time I noticed it, I was like 2 rows in. And you know, I've done that before where I've just gone over the color, and it works best when it's, you know, a light color and then you cover with a darker color, which is what I'm doing, what I'm going to do. I did it a lot on my Christmas sale. For whatever reason, I really struggled with the Grinch section, and I ended up like just stitching over several times. And I told my husband to pick out which ones I did, and he couldn't find them. And then I was like, oh wait, I don't remember. And I had to like really squint to find it. So my laziness hack to yours, if you've never done it. I'm sure we all have. Okay, now we go into, but yeah. So I gotta count this time because now I missed that top, so it's not gonna be so easy to find. Oh, let's do. Alrighty. Well, this is how far I've gotten since we started. So I finished the letters and just did, I think I did 3 rows in 35 minutes. It's kind of crazy how like you think you can get so much done in such a small amount of time, and then you realize it actually takes a really long time to cross stitch. I'm sure other people are faster than me, but yeah. So I'm gonna stop the video here, and I hope you guys had fun. I definitely did. I enjoy sitting here drinking my coffee, talking to you guys. I'll have another video up this week, and I'm trying to think, with the holidays, it shouldn't affect anything. So I'll try to get up a video this week, maybe Wednesday, and yeah, all right. I will talk to you later.